changes her mind, or until the grand jury term is over, which could be up to 18 months. News2Share.com reports that ahead of the hearing, Manning was asked what she thinks of the hearings being conducted in secret with no press or the public allowed in.
Doing this in secret, it's very contrary to, the public interest, in my opinion. So I've been very opposed to the whole idea of grand juries in general.
On Tuesday, Manning had her first of 3 hearings pertaining to the subpoena. She filed a motion to quash the subpoena, which was denied, and a second to allow the press into the hearing, which was deferred. Outside, a coalition of anti-fascist and anti-racist activists expressed their support for Manning and their disdain for the grand jury process. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Your news now continues. Newly revealed plans for expanding the Guantanamo Bay prison confirm that the future of the facility focuses on keeping detainees there well into old age and likely for the rest of their lives. Activist Post reports that a decade after President Barack Obama signed an executive order calling for Guantanamo Bay to be shuttered, prison officials are seeking contractors to build a wheelchair-accessible 5,000-square-foot compound at the detention center. That's according to reports by the Middle East Eye and the Miami Herald. Human rights advocates on Thursday decried the move. The new wing will contain 3 handicapped-accessible cells, suggesting that the prison is planning to provide end-of-life care to detainees, many of whom have not been formally charged with any crime or been afforded a trial. Lieutenant Jason Tross, a Guantanamo Bay official, told the Middle East Eye that the new handicapped-accessible cells are indeed planned because the prison is, quote, facing an aging detainee population, end quote. On Monday, the Pentagon announced it would be paying $946 million to Lockheed Martin toward the installation of a missile defense system that was purchased not by the United States government, but by Saudi Arabia. Mint-Press News reports that, in other words, that means the Pentagon is paying nearly $1 billion to subsidize a purchase made by a foreign power. In the announcement, the Pentagon referred to the payment as an unidentified contract action that would be used in part to prepare Saudi Arabia's current missile defense system for the installation of the $15 billion Terminal High-Altitude Area Defense System manufactured by Lockheed. The Pentagon said the payment was intended to prevent major delays in the delivery and production of the system, suggesting it was likely a hedge against past Saudi interest. The payment is also authorized for use by Lockheed to pay for materials, tools, and engineering development. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after posting for the 10,000th time on his Twitter account earlier today, despite only ever accumulating 15 followers, local man Aaron Gartner announced he's about ready to quit the popular microblogging site.
Well, I opened my account about 2 years ago and tweeted pretty much every day since, and it didn't really turn out like I expected. I thought, once I hit 8,000 tweets, I could get some traction, start getting more followers, but it never really happened. I mean, I gave it my best shot, I guess, but I think I'm about done here.
He has yet to be followed by anyone beyond a handful of friends, family members, and seemingly inactive accounts.
This one time I tweeted out a pretty good joke about how out of control Lindsay Lohan is, and it actually got me a retweet. It was from this guy in Argentina I don't know, who doesn't have any followers, and he's not following anyone else. Oh, hold on a sec. Apparently my aunt's following me now. Cool.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live. It is the live Saturday edition of the program. You may dial toll-free to join us here, and the number is 855-450-FREE. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Hop into one of those, we'll get you on the air, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Well, the FBI has done it again, Mark. They have once again decided that the best way to bust child pornography dealers is to become child pornography dealers themselves.
So they did this about 4 years ago. I think it was March 2015, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That is from memory. They ran a dark web. That's not any place that the average person wanders in.
Right.
They ran a dark web website called The Playpen.
Which they took over.
Right. It had been
busted it.
Right.
Took it
They didn't
over.
create it. It was they busted. They went in and sort of just took out the leadership and continued to run it for
2 weeks. Three
it was
weeks?
like 3 weeks. Yeah. 3 weeks, and for 3 weeks in 2015, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the United States Federal Bureau of Investigations, was the largest distributor of child pornography on the planet.
Yeah,
And
like countless, hundreds of thousands level kind of numbers of porn files, child porn files, images, videos.
Cannot understand this.
Well,
Now,
because
at least in that circumstance, I suppose you could say they're trying to catch people, but at the same time, if distributing child pornography is damaging to the victims,
that's what they want you to
that's
believe.
what we are told,
Yeah.
right? Then isn't it damaging? Isn't the FBI then damaging the victims? Why is it okay for them to do that? Not saying I want to distribute child pornography.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, as somebody who pays the paychecks of these people, they seem to spend an inordinate amount of time distributing child pornography.
Even outside of that, just in the looking at how undercover operations with police have proceeded in other areas. Look at the war on drugs, for instance.
Drugs is the first thing that comes to mind.
Generally, it's considered bad form for an undercover officer to actually sling around crack cocaine. They're supposed to kind of beat around the bush. They can't, actually sell it for whatever reason because that would be a crime or something. It's looked down upon. I'm not sure if it's a crime when they do it, but they're generally not supposed to do that, as I understand it.
Seems like a bad thing. If drugs are bad, you don't want to just keep dealing drugs to people and hope that you catch some of them.
Right. Generally, if they're doing an undercover drug sting, they claim they want to sell some sort of drug, and then if somebody says, I'm willing to buy that drug, well, you've already got the deal on the table. You don't need to actually sell them the drug. You can bust them right then and there, and that's what they do in a lot of cases.
Could you not run one of these websites and distribute empty files or pictures of, Martha Stewart or just a picture, just recipes or something instead of child pornography? And then if somebody downloads the file, they have already committed the crime?
I don't know. Is there a conspiracy to commit child pornography crime? It wouldn't surprise me if there were, but ultimately that would just be a conspiracy charge in that
downloading...
Because you wouldn't know until you got the file, presumably.
Downloading a file with the intent to download child pornography sounds criminal-ish.
Well, it sounds like something that they would argue is a criminal thing to do, but I don't know if it necessarily is. And further, if they did run a site like you're describing, it wouldn't get anywhere because... presumably word would get around that, hey, there's nothing there. Don't go to that site. The reason why they took over the operation of this Playpen site was because it was very popular and there were people using it on a regular basis. But now they've done it again. After all the controversy over the Playpen takeover, where they presided over the distribution of hundreds of thousands, if not more, files.
Before you get to the story, there's one more thing about this, is that at least one of the Playpen cases was dropped because somebody took it to trial and demanded to get some kind of evidence.
They wanted to see the program that the government had used. So when they took over, the FBI took over operation of the site, they planted some sort of code,
spyware,
some kind of malware on the site, and it infected, I think it was like 1,000 computers around the world, and they tried to, arrest and prosecute as many of those people as they could. I think they've rounded up, a couple hundred or so. And so one of those people, the one you're referring to, said, all right, well, discovery, rules of discovery, we want to see the code of the program that you put on our client's computer. And the FBI said, no. This is a state secret. We need this code. This is secret. We need to argue in front of the judge as to why we shouldn't have to turn this over. And basically, after arguing, out of court, right, like in the judge's chambers, the judge ruled that, yep, FBI, you've got to turn the code over, or you got to drop the case. And so
rather than turn over the code, they drop the case. Right. So if we're being protected by the FBI from these things, then we got bad service? I mean, they made a judgment call that maybe many of us would not. Remember, this is supposed to be a government of the people, right? That's the idea anyway.
Well, I don't think most people would have done what they did in the first place, which is to say take over a massive child porn website and then operate it hands off, basically.
Then we're getting bad customer service out of the FBI.
Well, they've done it again now. According to Forbes.com, the FBI has adopted a new tactic in the war on child pornography, taking over suspects' online identities to infiltrate private groups sharing disturbing illegal content. A search warrant obtained by Forbes documents the unprecedented operation in which a now convicted pedophile's Instagram and Kik accounts were commandeered by the feds. It raises new questions about how federal agents tackle online investigations into child abuse, but also how major social networks are being exploited by predators. The cops' gateway into the shadowy online world was 23-year-old Daxton Hansen from Salt Lake City's suburb of Roy, Utah. When investigators searched his home and interviewed him, he was startlingly honest, admitting to viewing a cornucopia of child pornography under username KitB10. Hansen, who was later sentenced to 48 months in prison after pleading guilty to possession of child pornography, created and was administrator for multiple private groups.
So this guy was really doing something with 48 months. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a little, just a small amount for running groups and stuff, but maybe.
In these groups, they were trading nude images and videos of, quote, prepubescent boys engaged in various sexual acts, unquote. Then came a gambit for the feds. They presented Hansen, who was only a suspect at the time, with the mundane-sounding FD 1086 form. If he signed it, Hansen would grant investigators control of his accounts on Instagram and Kik, a Canadian-made chat app that's become hugely popular among under 18s and subsequently child predators. Hansen signed them over. From April 12th, 2017, through at least November 13th of 2018, so year and a half.
A year and a half.
An undercover FBI agent working at the agency's Salt Lake City office assumed Hansen's online identity on Kik, according to a warrant application filed in November of 2018.
I think it's worth pointing out here that the last time we reported on this with the playpen situation, we were raided by the FBI in conjunction with that investigation within 30 days.
That was about 3 years ago now.
Now, the Malheur the Malheur takeover of the Malheur wildlife place. If y'all remember the
Oregon,
the sovereign citizens or whatever took over the this park in like Oregon or something, and it was a big deal. They sort of held out there for a month or something, and the FBI, to my mind, was trying to shoot the last 3 people. And I found it to be unprofessional that they could have done their jobs in different fashions. That also occurred in that period of time. So I don't know. We haven't ever heard anything on this investigation. But
now, 3 years later, they still have 50-plus devices from
They just took a bunch of our stuff. I always felt it was just sort of a warning. Gentlemen, shut your mouths. But that's not what we do here on Free Talk Live.
No, we didn't get into this to keep our mouths shut. That's for sure. And again, they're doing basically the same thing, except instead
this is for over a year.
Yeah, much longer. Instead of taking over a website, they're taking over this person's accounts on these private groups. Yeah, he's one of the people who created wherever these groups are. It's not clear. I didn't know you could have groups on Instagram. That's maybe it's a Kik thing.
I don't know anything about it.
I've never used that app, so I have no idea. The toll-free number here will tell you what happened. More about this. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Should the federal government be distributing child pornography in large numbers?
Does that make you feel safe?
In order to supposedly stop child pornography.
Maybe I got it wrong. I'm really curious.
855-450-FREE. Like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. AnyPay.global.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free here and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, if you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, you can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know people love to read them. So check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic, liberty-oriented messages over at libertystickers.com. As we continue here, we'll take your calls and thoughts about what you want. We're sharing an exclusive from Forbes that they, I guess they got this story before anybody else did, about the FBI once again taking over internet accounts. In this case, specifically, I guess Instagram and Kik, social media style accounts that were operated by a child porn distributor. And so they busted the guy, and then they got him to sign over their accounts or his accounts to the FBI. They then apparently ran those accounts for more than a year, like a year and a half, April of 2017 to November of 2018. And we'll tell you more about it coming up here. But, it brings up the big question of, if you think the federal government is supposed to be going after child pornography, should they be distributing child pornography? Because that's what they're doing. They're presiding over accounts that are distributing actual child pornography or facilitating the distribution of child pornography for, in this case, a year and a half.
Clearly, clearly child pornography, bad, right? Like yucky, disgusting.
Yes, forcing anybody into, making porn, whether a child or adult, is a detestable thing to do.
Right. It's terrible, human trafficking kind of thing. No doubt about it. But if distribution of it is, and I think from a philosophical standpoint, it's debatable. But whatever, if that's what you think, and I'm fine, I'll agree with you for the sake of this conversation. If the distribution of child pornography victimizes these people again, then did not the government victimize these people over the course of a year and a half? And is that acceptable?
Argument. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. Daniel is in Tallahassee, Florida. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, how's it going?
What's on your mind tonight?
All right, well, I just want to make a quick comment about the child pornography fishing ring.
Yes, sir.
I just say fishing because they're just going out there to see what they can get, right?
That's what it seems like, and in this case, they haven't gotten much of anything.
They haven't gotten anything. They've just distributed, lots and lots of images.
Oh, they really have. Okay, I just tuned in a minute ago, so I didn't know. But I don't like that personally. I think it's wrong. I just want to say I think it's totally wrong. I feel like they're part of the problem. I think that just perpetuates the problem. If it's a problem, I think it just makes it worse. It just reminds me of when they pretend to be hookers and they stand on the side of the road to see if anybody pulls over to say, "Hey, baby, how much?" And then they slap the cuffs on them. I just feel like that. Because they're lying, they look like so like for the hooker thing, that's what I equate it to. So like you drive down the road, you see, oh, there's a hooker, but you don't know that it's really a cop in disguise. So really, they're bringing, it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're focusing, and you're right. You're not wrong about this. You're focusing on the aspect of the police using deception as part of their job, whether it be to act as though they're a hooker, act as though they're a drug dealer, or whatever. They're deceiving a person in order to get them to agree to commit some sort of what they consider to be a criminal act. And I find that to be particularly detestable, that somebody would be paid to be a professional liar. That's their job, is to pretend like they are somebody that they're not in order to deceive people into committing, in most cases, what is an act with no victim. In the case of prostitution, in the case of
prostitution, in many cases, you don't even nothing even happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just dealing with the actual what they're doing. Like I'm not saying whether or not it's morally wrong or right. I'm just saying that.
I would say it's morally wrong to use deception in order to trick somebody into a pair of handcuffs. Basically, I find undercover work to be absolutely despicable.
Yeah, I was just talking about whether or not it's wrong or right to prostitute yourself. That's what I meant there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
they're definitely deceiving. And what I'm saying is, it's like they're just as much wrong to do that as somebody that's actually doing that on their own, just looking at those images or whatever. If they say that's wrong, that they're just as much at fault in my eyes because they're pretending to be so. And so people go on there, they see that screen name, and they say, "Oh, that's just another person that's downloading pedophilia." Or whatever. That's just another hooker on the side of the road, bringing down our property values. And I don't like the deception aspect, like you say. That's my
totally with you on that.
So usually, if somebody talks about somebody who sexualizes children, it's not too long before somebody's like, "Kill them, hang them, burning's too good," right? Like that comes next.
Yep.
What are we supposed to do when the federal government is the one doing it? How do we handle it? Now we know the crime. What do we do about it?
Forbes wrote a great article. I mean, you can publicize it.
Right, you can publicize it. I mean, you march on Quantico? That's not going to do anything.
I would say, Daniel, in this particular case, with the feds actually committing the act that they want to arrest people for, that would be tantamount to the undercover prostitutes, or rather undercover, the reverse in prostitution, where the police are the Johns, where they're the ones seeking the prostitutes to bust the prostitutes. In that case, there are situations where cops have absolutely, as department, with the department looking the other way, or either as policy, had sex with women before arresting them. So that would be sort of the thing here, right? Like, you're not, as a cop, you're not.
Know that. Yeah.
I think it was Hawaii. Yeah, it was Hawaii, where that's like apparently legal. And I don't know if they've changed the law recently, but
they oughta.
It happened.
Wow. I wonder if anybody's buying for that job.
Thanks, Daniel, for the call tonight. I appreciate it, man. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. So this time they took over apparently a Kik and Instagram account that was owned by a child porn distributor. He was allegedly in a number of groups. And apparently, it does say here they're Kik chat rooms. So I was going to say, I didn't think Instagram had a group function. Anyway, Kik chat rooms, rather than shutting down those chat rooms after they took them over, with names like Boy Porn Lovers, POORN, and Gay Perv Young, the agent watched over a mass of child abuse material distributed over Kik for a year and a half.
Yeah, that's going to do something to your brain to be able to see all that stuff over and over again.
There's another crazy story about the Facebook content moderators that came out within the last month. I don't remember the site that facilitated that story, but it was just like the amount of stuff those people have to look at is pretty horrifying.
Yeah.
As of today, the FBI's Kik sting marks the first publicly documented case in which the U.S. government took over the social media of a child pornography suspect. In doing so, the agents let child abuse material spread for months after they'd identified it. Thus far, the government has little to show for it. No subsequent prosecutions based on the protracted sting have yet emerged. The warrant also doesn't disclose whether the agent distributed illegal content or simply tracked others' activities. So if they're not saying, what does that suggest actually happened?
Well, if you're admin on the site, I think you're a distributor.
There's more coming up here. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. 855-450-FREE. Further, there's no indication as to when the chat rooms were shut down, if they ever were. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. The FBI and DOJ declined to comment. We'll tell you more about this case.
Working for the government means you never have to say you're sorry.
Coming up here in moments, you can join us on Free Talk Live.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
For the listeners, each talk show has like you're in the Joe Blow Army, or, the Ditto Heads. Do the lefties have it too?
I couldn't tell you.
Ed Heads, isn't?
Yep, Ed Heads.
Yeah, Ed Heads. So they all have them. I really want to hear from you.
I'd like to rename our listeners Mindless Free Talk Live Zombies. What do you think?
The Free Talk Live automatons.
Call in if you're a mindless Free Talk Live zombie.
What does it mean to you to be left? What does it mean to you
Progressive.
to be right? What does it mean to you to be conservative? What does it mean to you to be liberal? I think they're very vague concepts that pit people against one another. Many people who otherwise, in the absence of being able to plaster themselves with that label, might find out they've got an awful lot in common.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition of the show. You can dial in toll-free. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And you can join us online. Just head on over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features that we have waiting for you there. We do have Twitch, and that is a video streaming service that we did an after show on last night, which was Twitch only, so you can check that out on our videos tab or whatever over on Twitch. Go to twitch.lrn.fm. That'll take you right to our Twitch channel, and you can follow us there. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you can use your Amazon Prime free Twitch subscription and throw that over onto the LRN channel, and then that helps us out a little bit. It's basically a couple bucks that they send to us rather than keeping it for themselves. So you can help us out. If you're a Twitch or an Amazon Prime member, there's instructions just below our video window at twitch.lrn.fm on how to link up your accounts, and you can send us over that subscription. Unfortunately, you have to do it manually every single month, so there's no set it and forget it, which would be really nice if there were. But anyway, that's something you can do for us, and you can follow us there easily over at twitch.lrn.fm. As we continue here, we'll take your calls and thoughts about whatever you want, but I do want to make sure that you know about Bitcoin.com. It's your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. They can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet, buy some Bitcoin, and even show you where you can spend your Bitcoin, like saveitpurse.com. You can also read the latest news or engage with the community on the Bitcoin forum. Plus, if you need to get the basics on Bitcoin, there's no better place than bitcoin.com. Easy to remember, bitcoin.com. Ian and Mark here as we continue a little bit more about the story where the FBI busted a child porn suspect who apparently just admitted to having it and watching it and such, and he then signed a form that allowed the FBI to take over his Instagram and Kik accounts.
I hope he uses those 4 years in prison to do some kind of therapy on himself and break whatever bad habits that he had developed at some point. And I'm sure that it was relieving to get all that stuff off of his shoulders when he talked to the FBI. However, when he turned over his stuff to the FBI, his logins and that sort of thing to the FBI, they worked. He was an admin on these sites, and which basically makes
chat rooms, not sites. Chat rooms.
Okay, these chat rooms. He sees the images going by. He has control to some extent what's going on. He can kick people out and that kind of thing. The FBI took over his stuff and just continued to run the site for a year and a half. And at this point, doesn't have any arrests.
No, not a single prosecution at all has resulted from this. At least that's been on the record so far, according to Forbes, who got the exclusive on the story. And they're not even sure, according to the warrant, whether or not the chat rooms have even been shut down at this point. The commandeered account is no longer available on Kick, though the company said it's never been notified by law enforcement of any undercover operation. The case reintroduces tough questions over the merits of allowing harmful web behavior in order to catch criminals committing the same wrongs on a larger scale. Those questions came to the fore with the capture and maintenance of the dark web child pornography site Playpen 4 years ago. And it's a situation likely to become more familiar as criminals manipulate lightly policed internet platforms whose users range in the billions. Last month, YouTube was forced to purge 400 channels after a YouTuber showed that predators were timestamping and commenting on videos in which children were in, quote, sexually implicit positions, unquote. Links to actual child porn were placed in the comments of those videos as well. Major advertisers whose ads were shown alongside those videos swiftly ditched YouTube. The Google-owned streaming site said it was deeply concerned about the issue.
In this case of the YouTube ones, it's basically just people's home movies online and then weirdos perving on their kids.
Right.
So,
here's a tip. Don't put your videos of your kids in a public place if you don't want weirdos to find them, you know? If you want to share a video with grandma, you can upload it as unlisted on YouTube and then just give grandma the unlisted URL. And then only the people to whom she shares that URL will likely ever see it. So there are ways to, you know, not show the world, you know, your kids in the pool or bathtub or whatever it is that you're showing them.
Right.
The Google-owned streaming site said they were deeply concerned about the issue and last week banned all comments on videos containing children. The sting operation.
All right.
Seems a little excessive.
Well, I mean, you know, what are the points?
Comments suck.
YouTube's comments suck the most, though. I mean, this is a cesspool. YouTube comments are terrible.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. There's more on the story about what happened in Utah with the feds taking over child porn accounts. Let's go first, though, to Tim in South Carolina. Tim, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
I got to say, I disagree with you completely. I mean, at the end of the day, we can all agree that pedophilia is absolutely immoral.
Okay.
But beyond that, it's against the law. So engaging in it is against the law. How do you combat that?
Is it against the law when they do it, though?
Well, it's against the law for an individual to do it. Now, for law enforcement to combat it, it has to have some tactics that can allow them to be able to gather evidence and find perpetrators that are engaging in illegal activity. If you just shut down one website, they pop up 10. I mean, so at the end of the day...
It's kind of how the drug war goes, huh?
Well, look, it's the same thing for prostitution. I mean, you can argue the merits of whether it's moral or immoral, but at this point, it's illegal. So if you're engaging in that activity, and we all know that it has some inherent problems,
well, the only problems are that it's illegal. The only problem with prostitution is that it's illegal,
right,
because otherwise it would be a respected industry.
Like, for example, an undercover operation that's going after the mafia. Now, in that process, they had to go undercover, or in a drug deal, they had to go undercover, create a legend.
You think they should be able to sell the drugs that they intend to bust people for?
I think that at the end of the day, they're put in very difficult places to. But
that didn't answer my question.
Well, wait a second.
Look, I'm not in a court of law here. I'm giving you my.
I'm asking you for your opinion. Should they be able to sell the very drugs that they're then going to turn around and arrest you for?
Okay, if you want to give me a second to respond, I'm happy to respond. Okay, good. So at the end of the day, I don't think that selling the drug is a good way. But obviously, a drug deal happens when somebody puts themselves out to sell that product, and somebody about to buy them, and at that moment, that's when they catch the guy.
Well, that makes sense.
All these guys,
but at that point, the police haven't put.
That's how a drug deal That's how a drug dealer is busted.
Yeah, that makes some sense. But the cops aren't putting drugs on the street.
Prostitution.
He's not listening. He's talking, Mark.
Yeah, but the cops aren't putting drugs on the street. Let's step back for a second. Does the distribution of child pornography create a victim?
The drug.
No, wait. I'm asking a different question. Just a second. You can. I'll let you go on.
I'm not listening. I'm listening exactly to what you just said.
Does the distribution of child pornography create a victim?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely, it does.
Did the Federal Bureau of Investigations
by administering and allowing the opportunity to gather evidence and find perpetrators? The only way that you can do that in any logical way
is to be a perpetrator?
You're not a perpetrator. You're in the process of gathering evidence. You're finding those that are in the process. You're finding those.
Wait a second. Hold on. If I ran a ring of people who run around punching people in the face, I clearly have victims. If the police then take over the ring and run around and punch people in the faces, they're creating victims. You said the distribution of child pornography creates a victim. I'm asking you, is the FBI creating victims?
If an undercover officer is taking down a drug dealer or taking down a mafia mob, and there are crimes that are happening in his presence during that time, does that mean that he's the one that's doing something illegal? No. He's in the process of taking somebody down. It takes time for
how many so if that's the case, how many people need to be busted for every 100,000 images and videos that the FBI facilitates?
Hey man, as many people as we can take off of the streets. The pedophiles are a bunch of
Dude,
scumbags.
you're employing the Federal Bureau of Investigations to distribute child pornography and making excuses for it.
And so far in this investigation, they haven't arrested anybody, and it's been a year and a half of distributing child pornography. So there's your investigation.
Bizarre.
It's a bunch of crap. Thanks for the call. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNlife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I've treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNlife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Forget it.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
What
am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're
Democrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free if you want to join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just jump into our Discord server. It's open 24/7. You go to discord.lrn.fm, and you will find listeners in there basically around the clock. I mean, there are some times where there's a few hours where people don't say anything, but generally, any old random time, there's going to be people in there. Over at discord.lrn.fm. There are also other rooms besides the On-Air Now rooms, kind of the main room. But there's other ones like cryptocurrency and gaming, other discussions. There's a place for memes. There's a place to drop in news stories, show prep, stuff you want us to talk about on the air. I get a lot of good show prep out of that show prep room. I'd say I get even better show prep out of that than I do from the Free Talk Live website, which allows you to submit show prep as well. So thank you to everybody who participates there. And if you haven't jumped in there yet, go check it out. It's free. And there is a web version of the app over at discord.lrn.fm, but I recommend downloading the actual Discord app and then connecting that way. All right, let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. More on the FBI undercover operation. We just had a guy on the... Go ahead.
Yeah, the guy on the line, basically, this was his question. I don't think he could have formulated it better, but it's hard to be on the radio. How does law enforcement go about enforcing these laws and trying to prevent the distribution of child pornography? I mean, that's kind of what he was asking this is what they got to do because they got to try, and this is the way they do it. So they distribute a whole bunch of child pornography over the course of a year and a half. They arrest no one, but at least they're experimenting in how to, I don't know, catch people or something is the idea. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think that there's an interesting question. The interesting question would be, and I don't know anything about computers.
Here's step one.
Why can't they figure out who's going and downloading? I know
a thing or two about computers.
Yes,
and if I were the FBI in this case, and some child porn guy that they busted gave them access, which is what happened to his Kik and Instagram accounts, and then you log in and you find these pervert chat rooms with child porn being distributed, then the FBI, all they'd have to do is go to Kik or Instagram or whatever and say, we're going to need the IP addresses for all these participants, because these guys aren't using their real names, right? But they're probably, many of them are probably not smart enough to use like Tor or something like that. I don't even know if you can use these systems over Tor. I guess if you had Tor on your router or something like that, you
can certainly use a VPN.
Yeah, that's not the same thing as Tor, but
no,
yeah,
but Tor has a. No, I mean, I don't know.
Tor's the anonymizing is one of the anonymizing systems. But anyway, there are going to be some of them who are, don't know what they're doing, and they're going to just be logged in their normal accounts or whatever on their phone, and you just get the IP addresses and then go have your search warrant issued for those people. But Kik said they didn't get a single they didn't have a single contact from the FBI about any kind of undercover operation. So the FBI was just letting those rooms run for a year and a half. and collecting whatever information they're collecting. I can't imagine, what you're going to get out of a room like that besides child porn distributed by people with anonymous usernames.
I would think you could let a room like that continue on for a while and then just go cherry pick the ones that you consider to be the greatest perpetrators or something.
You could.
I mean, if they're going to do this, you could, in the course of a year and a half, you can figure out who's the movers and the shakers in these things rather than just the lurkers or whatever it is they do. And you can go in and pick one or two of them off every month, and it's just like
they'd be so quiet, because nobody would.
You wouldn't necessarily
know.
even know how it happened because
they would just go away and nobody would think anything of it.
Right. You get a search warrant based on this. You go in, you search the house, you find the stuff. There you go. What do you want?
If that person gets arrested and disappears from the chat room, it means nothing to the rest of the chatters, right? Oh, anonymous person has left the room, right? So, there's all these questions as to why they did things the way that they do them, and of course, they're not commenting. But let's go to your calls and thoughts. We'll start out with Gilbert calling from the internet. Gilbert, you're on Free Talk Live.
Gilbert from the internet.
Yes, I wanted to expose how the FBI is really not looking into the real pedophiles, the real people that are pushing this stuff, because if you do, then you must be a racist for some reason. They've convinced us they're so powerful that you can't even touch them.
What does racism have to do with this?
It's called, because you can't, if you touch that, if you tell them that they're pedophiles, that because they believe in the Talmud, which the Talmud says you can have sex with 3-year-old babies.
It's the Jews.
This person is claiming that Jewish people are pedophiles? That's pretty messed up, dude.
No, I didn't say the Jewish people.
Well, what are you saying?
I didn't say the Jewish
What's
people.
the racist thing that you're talking about
anybody
here?
who believes in the Talmud, you could believe in it. Are you Jew? Does that?
Isn't the Talmud the holy Jewish book?
It's one of them.
Yeah, but there's also a Christian Jewish book, and I believe in that one. And I believe
Wasn't Sarah below the?
disciples.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sarah was below the age of consent when what we would consider the age of consent.
So was Mary.
Yeah, Mary was very young when God impregnated her.
Yeah, but the Talmud clearly says you can have sex with a 3-year-old, and I've bet $10,000 on the radio to anybody who proves to me that I'm wrong. And it also
you seem really obsessed with this. What's up with that?
Why is it the Talmud that you're so upset with?
Because right now, for example, I'm neither Republican or Democrat.
I don't care.
But the thing is that, and I don't agree with anything Ilhan Omar says or does, but except for this one issue that she exposes AIPAC, that they give too much money to
so
the
it's not just the Talmud.
Israel, it's
it's
a
like
foreign government.
all the
Pardon me?
Jews, right?
No, it's not the Jews. Of course not.
Well, what is
it?
it?
The Jews, Jesus Christ, his disciples. Pardon me?
What is it then?
It's the Talmud and that belief system.
Talmud
so what are you saying? The FBI should investigate?
I have yet to meet a Jew that believes that sex with 3-year-olds is acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, these are old,
ridiculous.
ancient, stupid books, right? And all of them are.
Yeah, what do you want the FBI to do exactly about the Talmud?
Well, just look at this. For example, the Talmud goes with the Kabbalah, and all of these Talmud and Kabbalah believers, like Aleister Crowley, for example.
He's dead. We got him handled.
Puts out in his books.
What do you want the FBI to do?
Well, look into these people. Why are they allowing these people?
Who are these people?
Who are these? Yeah,
Aleister Crowley, you can't look into unless you just pull up a Sepultura and break it open.
But
all right. Thanks for the call, Gilbert. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. It's nice when people can answer a question, but we haven't had any calls like that so far here.
Well, we have.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If he'd said, instead of the FBI doing this, they should investigate their own bosses, now he would have been on to something, right? Like with the whole Jeffrey Epstein situation. I don't know if you've been following that at all.
I've been paying a bit of attention.
Yeah, so this is the very politically connected guy.
This is the guy, what, Lolita something?
He had a plane that was allegedly called Lolita Express.
Lolita Express, yes.
He has his own island in the Caribbean, private island, and has been accused and basically there's a mountain of evidence.
Yeah, mountain of evidence.
Essentially, he took a guilty plea on some lesser charges for this and got off essentially scot-free with no real jail time for ostensibly molesting young girls, maybe young teen girls on this island in this airplane and so on. And there's still something working its way through the courts on that. There's a very detailed story that the Miami Herald did. It's on their website right now.
And this is Trump's next door neighbor?
They allege that he's a neighbor. I'm not sure if that's next door.
Next door, okay.
But it sounds like they live close by to one another. Ostensibly, Trump's been on the plane as well,
and
at some point.
Bill Clinton at some point.
Clinton has definitely been on the plane.
All right.
This guy, hobnobs it with a bunch of the big names out there.
Now, I mean, I've been on a private jet once, and I don't know what that private jet's been used for. So I don't think that being on the plane is necessarily an indictment of anything.
No, it's not. And no one has alleged that Trump, raped them or anything like that.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, no. There have been people that have alleged that, but not any young ladies. Yeah.
Right. They haven't, in association with Jeffrey Epstein, they have not alleged that.
So I think it's interesting and should be looked into because it doesn't surprise me.
But no one wants to look into it, and that's what when you read the Miami
Herald, look into rich people's proclivities.
Well, when you not only rich people but very politically connected rich people.
Oh, sure.
The Miami Herald article, it's broken up into 3 parts. It's really exhaustive. I mean, really exhaustive, interesting, very detailed reporting. Some information coming out for the very first time, and when you read this story about Epstein, it's clear that these prosecutors who were going after him were neutered somehow. Like, they were continuing to, I'm putting quotes around, prosecute him, but basically dropping every ball they could possibly drop, including allowing him to just take this ridiculous plea deal. And it was just this, I mean, from the perspective of what has happened to other people who've been accused of similar so-called crimes, he got nothing compared to what everybody else gets. I mean, he basically got a slap on the hand for what would put other people in prison
under the jail
for 5, 10, maybe even more years. And he didn't just do this once; he was accused of doing it to multiple people. So I mean, it's just fascinating stuff. So yeah, if that was what our caller had said, I've been like, yeah, the FBI should investigate that, but they're not. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That whole case, the government
should another policing agency be investigating the FBI over the distribution of child pornography in this case?
Good question. If so, who would that be?
Yeah, who watches the watchers?
Yeah, 855-450-FREE.
The media does is the answer.
There's more coming up. Free Talk Live.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please don't wait. Your life matters to us. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. Call right now before it's too late. 800-213-9264.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,293. Silver opened the day at $15.10, and Bitcoin is trading around $3,888. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, Chelsea Manning has been taken into custody after refusing to testify against Julian Assange to a secret grand jury. She will be held until she changes her mind or until the grand jury term is over, which could be up to 18 months. News2Share.com reports that ahead of the hearing, Manning was asked what she thinks of the hearings being conducted in secret with no press or the public allowed in.
Doing this in secret, it's very contrary to, the public interest, in my opinion. So I've been very opposed to the whole idea of grand juries in general.
On Tuesday, Manning had her first of 3 hearings pertaining to the subpoena. She filed a motion to quash the subpoena, which was denied, and a second to allow the press into the hearing, which was deferred. Outside, a coalition of anti-fascist and anti-racist activists expressed their support for Manning and their disdain for the grand jury process. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Your news now continues. Newly revealed plans for expanding the Guantanamo Bay prison confirm that the future of the facility focuses on keeping detainees there well into old age and likely for the rest of their lives. Activist Post reports that a decade after President Barack Obama signed an executive order calling for Guantanamo Bay to be shuttered, prison officials are seeking contractors to build a wheelchair-accessible 5,000-square-foot compound at the detention center. That's according to reports by the Middle East Eye and the Miami Herald. Human rights advocates on Thursday decried the move. The new wing will contain 3 handicapped-accessible cells, suggesting that the prison is planning to provide end-of-life care to detainees, many of whom have not been formally charged with any crime or been afforded a trial. Lieutenant Jason Tross, a Guantanamo Bay official, told the Middle East Eye that the new handicapped accessible cells are indeed planned because the prison is, quote, facing an aging detainee population, end quote. On Monday, the Pentagon announced it would be paying $946 million to Lockheed Martin toward the installation of a missile defense system that was purchased not by the United States government, but by Saudi Arabia. Mint-Press News reports that in other words, that means the Pentagon is paying nearly $1 billion to subsidize a purchase made by a foreign power. In the announcement, the Pentagon referred to the payment as an unidentified contract action that would be used in part to prepare Saudi Arabia's current missile defense system for the installation of the $15 billion Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System manufactured by Lockheed. The Pentagon said the payment was intended to prevent major delays in the delivery and production of the system, suggesting it was likely a hedge against past Saudi interest. The payment is also authorized for use by Lockheed to pay for materials, tools, and engineering development. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new report finds climate change skeptics could reach catastrophic levels by 2020. The nation's gratuitously sexual couples announce plans to wait in line at Six Flags. And Grandpa looks absolutely precious in his new baseball cap. Offering a one-stop shop for all your peerless online news summary needs, this is the Onion Week in Review. In response to the escalating violence and rising death toll in Gaza this week, Israel unveiled a new defense system to deflect accusations of human rights violations. Israeli officials praised the new safety structure's ability to intercept an international barrage of war crime allegations and divert criticisms of Palestinian civilian casualties before they can ever hope to make contact with the Jewish state. In other news, a new state law requires doctors to scale an 18-foot wall surrounding abortion clinics. A study finds high school students retain only 1/3 of their obsolete curriculum over the summer, and a man's anxiety is not about to let depression muscle in on its turf.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here as we launch into the second hour of the program. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
It's a live Saturday show. Numbers 855-450-FREE. Talking about yet another example of the FBI presiding over the distribution of God knows how many child pornography images and videos that were being transferred over a year and a half's period of time in what appear to be multiple online chat groups that they gained access to after they arrested one of the participants, who then signed over access to the FBI, which I didn't know they had. I didn't know you had to sign over access to that kind of thing. I figured they arrested the dude, they could just take over, but I guess he had to consent to it, and he did. Maybe in return for some sort of leniency or what, I don't know. But
yeah, it seems like clearly he did. He got
48 months.
48 months for being the admin on a child porn ring.
Right. So they took over the essentially the administrative capabilities, and then they just sat there and monitored these sites. There's no evidence of any charges being brought at this point. And some people seem to be so, I don't know what the right word is, confused by this, or like so willing to watch the FBI commit the very same act that they themselves claim is illegal and damaging, allegedly.
Obsequious is the
victims.
Term.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, sniveling, kowtowing. That's what we're talking about here. I mean, what other explanation is there for, I mean, we just gave a system to an easy implementable system to pick off the distributors of child pornography inside this ring.
Mm-hmm.
This is very implementable, very easy to do, and the FBI isn't doing it.
Well, it may not be easy, but at the very least it could do something.
Standard police work.
Yeah.
You go to Kik, you say, what are the IP addresses for these people?
Which they didn't
this
do,
user right
to
here. They then go through the reams of information as they sign in from different places.
Yeah.
They figure out where this person lives. They go to their house. They get a warrant. Shouldn't be hard. They then search their computers. They either do or do not find child pornography on the computers. They have either then committed a crime or they have not committed a crime. This is simple police work. A year and a half, they've done nothing.
We go to your calls and thoughts. You can bring up anything that you want. There's more to the story, by the way, from Forbes. They got a real detailed piece on this. We'll get into some more of what happened according to the warrant that the FBI had received. Let's go, though, first to your calls and thoughts. We have Corbin on the line in Rhode Island watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Corbin.
Hello?
Hey, Corbin, you're on the air.
Hi, I'd like to address the current situation and some of the callers.
Sure.
For the callers, I just feel like they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They'll say, "Oh, religion is this," and they'll blame it on the religion, then they'll blame it on the race. Race and religion has nothing to do with it. If you do something yet you know it's against the law, it's your own fault. It's no one else's fault but yours. But I find it funny how people can say,
sure, what you're saying is only blame the individual. You shouldn't blame the person's race or their religion for the individual's choice.
Correct, because if one guy does something, if one guy looks up that type of stuff, it's his fault. That's basically point blank. It's his fault. It's not no one else's fault. If he knew what he was doing was wrong, right? Technically, he should know what the consequences are. And there's also more I want to say about you said about the Kik groups and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did some research into that, and it's unbelievable. You have kids, little kids, under the ages of 13. Because one of my friends, they do undercover stuff because on YouTube, there's like people who like try to expose pedophiles and all that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And they'll do like, and I salute them for doing that. I salute anyone who's like knows like.
I think that if you look hard enough,
emotion.
you'll find pedophiles everywhere, which is to say that you will.
Right.
People have called this show and accused us of being pedophiles, and I'm not even sure why. Like, because they're crazy and, like.
They want to make themselves look famous and try to get.
Right.
Like,
so I think that there's a danger to this you running around and being amateur pedophile detective. But I think you should be free to.
Everybody needs a hobby.
Everybody needs a hobby, right?
Right. Sure. I was probably like a little mixed up there because a lot of emotion right now at the moment. But like, I find it funny. Like, there's parents who give these kids phones. They should like warn them about this. There's some parents out there who will warn the kids.
So tell me about the Kick thing, because I've never used the app before. Are these rooms just publicly listed, or do you have to like know where to go to pull the room up? It's like a secret URL.
I don't use Kick a lot as myself because since a lot of issues are going on with like the world now, like nowadays, like since like many people are like listed as pedophiles and all, you know what I mean? I try to stay away from that stuff.
I just figured it sounded like you knew a thing or two about it. Thanks for the call, Corbin. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's go.
I'm curious about these people under the age of 13 and how much texting, how much chatting they're doing on these things. I mean, I can't imagine your, deep conversations are going on in these rooms. My son's 11, and he wouldn't have any interest in this. He wouldn't want to spend that kind of time typing, honestly.
Especially on your phone. My God, typing
it's
on a phone.
Awful. Unless you have like a Bluetooth keyboard, it makes it a little better.
Let's go to Bob, listening to WIBC FM in Indianapolis. Hello, Bob.
Hey, how are you this evening?
Good. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I've been reading on the internet about these women that are so afraid of climate change they don't want to have kids anymore. Well, that's crazy.
I did see a story of women that aren't going to have kids because of climate change.
Yeah, I mean, what if the world blew apart in the next minute? What the hell are we going to do about it?
Are they antinatalists, Mark?
No, they're just I don't know. I mean, they're taking an opportunity to get some PR. Basically, they've got an issue. The issue is climate change. They're going to they're going to get the story the way they're going to get the story, and we are putting our ovaries on strike. Don't worry, ladies. None of us were going to knock you up anyway.
I agree with him 100%. But yeah, I mean that's just crazy. I mean, I don't. As for climate change, whether it's true or not true, I have no control over what Mother Nature does. Neither does the rest of us.
Yeah, I tend to be with you on that one, Bob. I want to thank you for the call tonight, man. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I like what Gene, the Christian anarchist, has said on this, and that is that we're relatively insignificant when it comes to the size and the scope of the entire planet. And that does have its way of kind of taking care of itself and cleaning itself up. That's not to say that people shouldn't be concerned about, things, but
I don't think the planet is going to go away as a result of humans on it.
Yeah.
But humans can make a given area uninhabitable for themselves.
Sure.
There's 7+ billion of them, so they can make a lot of areas uninhabitable for themselves. And that's all that most people are talking about is what are we doing to the environment? We're certainly changing things. Coral reefs of the oceans become more acidic. Why? I don't know. Looks like it might have something to do with climate change or human activity.
Let's go to Jet, calling from somewhere in the U.S. Jet, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, guys. Haven't talked for a while, but since Saturday night is the government night, I'd love to help you guys out.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I get... wanted to pass on that, first of all, this concept of government is pure psychology. In other words, if the masses don't believe in it, it can't exist.
That's true.
And secondarily, police, FBI, all these people calling themselves government or law enforcement or whatever, they're just other people.
Yeah.
So if I could get you to repeat after me.
Well, before you go any further, I'd like to point out, one of the callers there, he was basically saying that the FBI and presumably other policing organizations need to have wide and nearly unchecked powers to investigate stuff like this, which gives them basically extra rights. Their badges grant them extra rights that the rest of us don't get. And I just don't get that kind of thinking.
No, my position has always been, And this is what I want to impress upon you guys. Repeat after me that these people are just other people who have no right to do anything that you or I may not do. They're supposed to be our delegates, our servants, and all that stuff. So I have a little 60-second game for you.
Okay.
If you have a small piece of paper, split it down the middle. On the left-hand side, write these 5 words: government, federal, state, county, and city. And on the right-hand side, write down people, mafia, goons, psychos, gangs, thugs, or anything else you want to write down. Now, you've seen the match game, where you have the words on the left, the words on the right, and you match them up.
Stand by, Jet.
Have to hold on for
We're
a
going to
second,
come back with more of your thoughts in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free here and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. By the way, big thanks going out to Bitcoin Photographer, who is a Free Talk Live silver amplifier. And the AMP program is something that anybody who can afford $5 a month can join. So not a whole lot, but it makes a big difference for us when you do it. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is you send $5 a month to Free Talk Live, PayPal, credit card, or even Bitcoin BTC. And Free Talk Live will invest that into what we do. It'll help us get on new radio stations. We're hovering at about 194 radio stations right now. We'd love to get to 200. It's totally possible. It's doable. And we can do it with your help. And you'll get some cool perks too, some benefits that give you special access to certain things like our Discord server. There's a couple of AMP chat rooms there. The amplifiers, there's a special forum on Facebook for those of you still on Facebook and such. So you can go and learn more about that over at amp.freetalk.
Ian's little jabs,
live.com.
Passive aggressive stuff for those of you still on Facebook.
A lot of people are leaving Facebook, Mark. amp.freetalklive.com. Please go there, get signed up. And we really do appreciate it. It's amp.freetalklive.com. As we continue, we'll take your calls and your thoughts about what you want. Jet is on the line with us somewhere in the U.S. You had me write down a couple of columns, left column, right column. On the left column, the words government, federal, state, county, city. On the right column, people, mafia, goons, gangs, thugs. Now, what now?
Yeah. Well, you can add any number. Well, as you know, as you might recall, I'm a dedicated disciple of Christ, who understands that human government is nothing but satanic and evil. So I've been trying over the years to try to get you guys to eliminate the word government from your vocabulary, and I might have come up with a way to get you out of it, and that is by eliminating the word government as a noun, but turning it into an adjective. So we, rather than, because as I said before, the people calling themselves government have no right to do anything that you or I may not do.
Right.
So what we do is we move that over to the left side, use it as an adjective, and call them what they are.
Government thugs, government people.
Goons.
I see what you're saying. Government goons.
Yes,
yeah, and I do that actually pretty
goons,
often on my blogs over at freekeen.com. Frequently, I'll refer to them as the government gang here in town, the Keene gang, or the people calling themselves the city of Keene. So I feel like I'm pretty good at this, Jet, but I may not be as consistent as you might like.
Yeah, but that's the way to get the word government as far as a noun out of our vocabulary, because
sure,
they're just other people. They have no right to do anything that they do. And
it's important to remind people about that.
But
so you just want to eliminate the term government
as a noun.
And what's the reason?
Well, because people have been raised, grown up, taught, educated to consider that this concept is legitimate, and it's not. No one has the right to rule over you. I mean, your neighbor, your friends, neighbors, and relatives, just because they move from that house into an office somewhere, does not transcend them into some godlike position. They're just other people. They're failed flesh and blood sinners. They're just, with all their problems. In other words, they have no right to do anything that you or I may do to another individual. That's just how I feel about it, how I see it.
Well, and also, the more power you give a person, because that's what we're talking about here, right? Like, government isn't anything but people. The more power you give a person, the more likely that person is to become corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just
always
scientific
always,
fact.
Yeah, it's actual scientific fact. They've seen these things, and there's the rare person that doesn't become corruptible, but they're darn rare.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been watching this program. I can't remember what it's designated survivor or something like that, and it's just crazy how people have turned this concept of what we were supposed to have here in America as government upside down to where these legislators and governors and all that, they're kings, the kings and little Caesars and all that kind of thing. People stand up for them, when they come in the room and all this stuff, when in fact they're supposed to be
they call them
highest
honorable
level of servanthood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, any number of things. But really, I'm sorry to be a Johnny One Note, but that's really
yes. But you play it so well.
I don't mind.
Jet, thank you for the call. By the way, we met your daughter down at Anarchapulco, so that was kind of fun. She came up to the table.
It's just good, kid.
And said hello to us.
Yeah, I thanked her for you, basically.
It doesn't usually work that way.
Works, but
she's been traveling the world. I've been feeding this stuff into her brain, so hopefully she's disseminating it.
Well, if she's at Anarchapulco, there's a good chance that it's worked. Hey, thanks for the call, Jet. I appreciate hearing from you. And, it's a good suggestion to keep in mind that the government is just people. And if all people are created equal, and I think that's a fairly popular belief, then those people don't have any extra rights than you, or they shouldn't. But as Jet pointed out, it's the belief in the idea of government that makes them powerful. It makes them, it puts them above you. And that's a choice that you've made. And you can unmake that choice. Unfortunately, it won't make them go away right away because not enough people have unmade that choice. Not enough people have changed their mind about how they view the state, how they view government. Instead of, some sort of...
His presumption is that we have a powerful platform from which to broadcast, and he's right about that. And
it's all right.
200 radio stations,
not
too bad. It ain't Rush Limbaugh, but it's not some little 4,500 watt FM in Sarasota, Florida either.
Mm-hmm.
So and if we sculpt our verbiage that that can be powerful and meaningful, I think it's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I've tried to do over the years. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
855-450-FREE. It just shows how powerful that sort of the societal programming is.
Sure.
You use this term government. Well, what is government?
It comes at you in school. It comes at you in media. I mean, it's just constantly thrown at people. So it's understandable why they look at it differently. They've been told many stories about government, that you're the government. It's government by the people. It's for the people.
They tell us those little lies in school when we're young enough to believe them.
Make sure you do the pledge every day.
I went out with a friend last night. We went to a little cigar bar, and as sometimes it happens at a bar, you end up in a conversation with a person you don't know, and he was adamant about the notion that the government needs to return to the people. And I said, the people are idiots. And he looked at me and blinked. Like nobody's ever said that to him before. But, when when it comes to voting, there's no wisdom of crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at wisdom of crowds. You take the premise of the book. Well, you take the premise of the book, and it's when they have, sort of a profit motive, or when they've got money at the line, or whatever. Then they get smart. But when they don't have anything on the line, you get Trump and Hillary, right? You get Obama, or whoever it is. You get the crappiest choices you could possibly be handled. I can only imagine how bad they're going to be in 2020.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, live Saturday edition continues. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms where you can join. It's the top 4 rooms on our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. Just hop into one of those 4. We'll join you in the room after we notice you there, and you'll get on the air with us. Sound great. We got plenty more time for you if you want to join us. Plus, we got more on the FBI running another child porn distribution ring. It's Free Talk Live.
Anytime,
any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
We all have heard about the benefits of fish oils, but what about the presence of heavy metals, PCBs, dioxins, furans, and other contaminants found in fatty tissues of fish? GCNteam.com recognizes this risk and offers IFOS certified tested omega-3 fatty acids. EPA, DHA insist on IFOS omega-3 fatty acid certification. Get the best at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're here. Live Saturday edition for you. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, want to make sure you know that Fork Fest is coming up 3 months from now, basically. It's going to be happening June 13th through the 18th at the beautiful Rogers Campground in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It is just an absolutely spectacular location to be. Even if you were just there with, your loved ones, just your family or, lover or whatever. It's a beautiful location. The mountains are absolutely incredible. The vista, the view is just wonderful.
Gorgeous.
And but then when you're surrounded by other liberty-minded folks, libertarians, voluntarists, liberty-loving anarchists, then it gets even more fun because there's all kinds of cool stuff that can happen, and some of it will happen at Forkfest because it's decentralized, meaning nobody is in charge of Forkfest. Somebody was asking in the Forkfest chat room today on Telegram,
take me to your leader.
Isn't Forkfest, doesn't it have reservations at Rogers Campground? I'm like, Forkfest doesn't exist outside of the idea of that it should be these 5 days before the Porcupine Freedom Festival happens in New Hampshire at the same campground. Otherwise, everybody just kind of does their own thing. If you want to create a thing for people to do it. You want to put a musical act on, put a poker game together, or put a class together. I know Jay Noon, one of our Wednesday night co-hosts, is going to be doing Man Camp.
A friend of his is going to be making knives and axes
as part of Man Camp.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a party tent every single night, like apparently a big tent from the guys over at AnyPay.Global. They're going to be, I think Steven's actually going to do DJing every single night, which is an incredible level of dedication to the act of throwing a party. So they're going to do that, and that's cool. And I know Jim Babb's been there every year throwing a party. He hasn't announced it yet, but he's done it the last 2 years, so I suspect he'll do the final night party again this year. I'm just throwing that out there because it's happened the last two. People can create whatever it is that they want to, or you can just show up and hang out. It's up to you. Go to forkfest.party, and you can learn more about it. You can link over to the Forkfest forum. You can also link to the Forkfest Telegram chat there. And once again, forkfest.party as we continue with your calls and thoughts. Doug is in Illinois. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't believe that people are calling in and pretty much claiming that the FBI should have unlimited power. When you have authority, and they have great authority without any type of accountability, you have that lead to tyranny. The people who have called in that have claimed that should be moving over to North Korea for the fact that you could do an entire future show on the corruption of the DOJ, FBI for a 4-hour program, and you wouldn't be able to cover all of it.
Yeah, you couldn't scratch the surface.
No, they violate, like here, the big thing for me can be they violate the Fourth Amendment continually. If you violate the Fourth Amendment and you're an agent of the government, you should be thrown in jail. You should be held accountable for that. Mm-hmm. They do whatever the hell they want to do.
Sure.
But I did want to bring up the pornography issue. Look, I believe that people who are involved in child pornography should be locked up. I'm not trying to defend that. But I think that...
And by that you mean, just to be clear, you mean people who force children into sex-related videos and photographs, right? You don't mean like a teenage boy or girl who takes a nude photo of themselves in the bathroom mirror and sends it to their boyfriend or girlfriend? Okay.
No, I'm kind of like, I don't know what to believe with people who intentionally go out and download it. I don't know. I think that they should do jail time over that. I mean, you're violating children. I mean, when you have that happen to children, they're never right, even into adulthood. I mean,
I guess my statement on it would be, although sort of there's no victim that you can really point to in the sort of sharing of child pornography.
Well, sure you can.
But hold on. Let's talk about that in a second. What I would say is I feel nothing, like I feel no remorse when these people go to jail. Like if they get caught up in the system, I don't feel bad. I don't lose any sleep over it.
But there's no victim because it's like trading evidence of a crime, right? The crime was the act of taking the photo or video, forcing a child into that situation. That's the crime. It's tantamount to essentially trading evidence of a crime, like, I've got pictures of a murder, crime scene or whatever. It shouldn't be illegal to trade murder pictures.
Right. Like what if I'm going online and I'm investigating these child pornographers, which many people do in their spare time.
We had a guy call in earlier saying he
was
knew
just talking about it.
That.
What if I end up with some evidence? Am I then a child pornographer? I mean,
but here can be what I'm going to get into on that. I want to cover that real quick for the fact that, I mean, what we do in the country can be we engage in collateral damage. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar, Ian. You should remember like LimeWire, which had been a peer-to-peer sharing program, right?
I recall the name.
Yeah, I don't know if I used it.
Yeah, there had been a gentleman out in Ohio back, and I believe it had been 2005. The article came into my libertarian feed a while ago, and he went to work, and before he went to work, he activated LimeWire, and he began downloading, like, you go into it and you could pick which file you want to download, and he began downloading like 20 of them, and then went off to work.
20 of what? 20 child porn or 20
No, not
movies?
child porn. They did. no, you could go on there and you could download like an album of Metallica, or you could download a movie.
Gotcha.
Or you could download
pirated content. Okay.
Right. And it had been like 2005. They didn't crack down on it yet, and he didn't know. A couple of them were child pornography.
Oh.
He technically downloaded child pornography. Well, they came in, they locked him up, and they got him to a jury trial, and they actually convicted him.
Wow.
And it hadn't, I believe it hadn't been until like 2010 that he actually got out on appeal.
So are you saying, just to be clear, that he downloaded, like, let's say, Metallica, what he thought was a Metallica album, but it actually ended up being child pornography?
Right. We have got to be very careful. We are becoming a country where we're like mob rule, where we do everything with, when we make law, we do it very broad. Did he technically download child porn? Yeah, he did, but he didn't intend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're doing away with the intent of law. And
not all laws require intent for it to be a criminal act in some cases. I don't know.
Well, intent's hard to prove. That's the difficulty. And intent, to some extent, is the thought crime aspect. If this is bad, that's what sort of is the argument that why the FBI should be able to do this, is because they don't have the intent. They're not thinking prurient thoughts. But that nasty neckbeard that's in his mom's basement downloading, he's thinking dirty thoughts, so we need to lock him up.
Right.
And that's the weird part here, is that
I'm not in favor of thought crimes.
Nor am I, but I think that there's it's important for me, it's about what is this a catalyst for more and worse, and sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, is basically the answer. Is if somebody just downloads child pornography and they never go out and do anything terrible, I guess that's not the worst thing in the world, right? But if it makes them sicker and sicker and sicker, and then they finally go out and do something terrible, then I have a real problem with it.
Yeah.
So
I hope that it will make people think, though, of the collateral damage, for the fact that the government, they only work in the collective. They shouldn't be working that way. They should be working on the individual. And if you're an individual and you didn't mean to break a law, and here you're getting caught up in it, that can be totally wrong. We shouldn't have that. What did they talk about in the formation of the country, that 100 guilty men should go free before one non-guilty man should be convicted?
Absolutely.
It was 10, but yeah.
I'll still agree at 100 to 1.
You got to make sure that the people, that non-guilty people, like with that gentleman, did he intend to download it? Well, no, but he technically did, and they tried to convict him of it. Thank God that the judge, when he went to appeal, got him off on it. But,
really? Doug, thanks for calling and sharing that with us tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Jordan is calling. He's listening on Discord. Jordan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey.
How's it going? Good. You're on the air.
Just wanted to follow up with the other caller and a couple other thoughts. First off, I think pedophiles are disgusting. If it was up to me, and thank God it's not up to me, they would be out dead somewhere. But regardless of the fact, with the FBI, I think it's definitely wrong that they're continuing those operations. As you can see,
you mean, just for listeners just tuning in, you mean the operations where they take over child pornography distribution centers and continue to distribute child pornography for, in some cases, months at a time? That's what you're referring to?
Yes, correct. Yeah. And they're technically, could be charged. Well, we know it's not going to happen.
No,
but
cops don't arrest cops.
So they're heeding into that crime, and they're just perpetuating that crime even further.
I'm not sure where you're going with this. Stand by, Jordan. We'll bring you back. I'll let you wrap that up. Coming up in moments.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Did you know the official national American flag has never been manufactured for retail stores? The one that Americans fought and died for. The one symbol that represents our Constitution. Now you can be a part of this great movement that's never been seen before. Together, we'll recapture America. Call 1-877-383-4777 or visit theofficialflag.com. Theofficialflag.com.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free here, bring up whatever you want. And I got to say, I was kind of surprised that people have actually called in tonight to defend the FBI's distribution of...
Only one person has.
I thought it was two. But anyway, somebody called and defended the FBI's distribution of unknown levels of child pornography. We don't have the exact numbers on this new version of their undercover sting operation, where they took over a Kik and Instagram account, or maybe more than one, of a guy that they had arrested for child porn, and then proceeded to preside over rooms that he was an admin of, while a flurry of child pornography was passed around between the members over a year and a half.
I have a question for
with no charges
for the status, the ones that are still listening at this point. If it is acceptable for the FBI to distribute child pornography in the name of catching the bad guys, and these are certainly bad guys. I mean, you know, it's hard to feel sorry for anybody who goes to jail for this stuff. But if they can do that, then what thing could they do in the name of law and order that you would find unacceptable? I just don't know. I mean, if the distribution of child pornography isn't the thing that you say, finally, they have gone too far, then what, by God, what could it possibly be?
Let's go back to Jordan listening to us on our Discord server. There's actually a room on Discord that plays most of the time, as long as the robot isn't broken down. Every now and then it'll break down. So it's not the most reliable way to listen, but it's there on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. And Jordan, you're back on with us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
All right. So what I was saying before is, the FBI also did a thing in the deep web, a whole big thing, and that included the Silk Road and all those other drug websites. And even with that, you see they were running that website for quite some time now before they actually decided to shut it down.
Yeah, that's true.
What they're trying to do is obtain evidence against users. I'm not defending the FBI. I think drug use is a victimless crime. But with the pedophile website, I think they should take it down right away and definitely go after them.
Well, because what you can say about the drug sales thing is that the FBI wasn't selling drugs, but they were operating websites where drugs were being sold. So you could draw a parallel there, but in those cases, you're talking about consenting individuals, somebody consenting to buy from a seller, whereas the argument with child pornography is that the person who was photographed or videoed wasn't consenting. They were victimized, and then the argument is further that everybody who shares that image of the victimization is somehow victimizing that person further. I don't necessarily buy that claim, but that's the claim that is constantly made by the prosecutors, by the police, and so you have the federal agents themselves facilitating the passing around and maybe even sharing themselves. That wasn't made clear in this warrant from the FBI as to whether or not this undercover agent was actually sharing the images themselves or just administrating the rooms in which they were being shared. We know that the latter part's true, but we don't know whether or not the former is. Jordan, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Your thoughts. Let's go to Joe, listening via Global Star, which I suspect is free-to-air satellite. Joe, where are you calling from?
Michigan.
You got us on free-to-air satellite there in Michigan?
It's Global Star. I call in on my phone.
Oh, okay, cool.
And listen to some other conservative talk shows.
Interesting. Go ahead with your thoughts.
My thoughts are, the government's out of control in just about every area. And, they think that they're our masters, instead of our servants. And I just don't understand it. As far as I'm concerned, the whole thing needs to be cleaned out and we need to start all over again.
How about we just not start over again and forget about the federal government?
Well, yeah, we really don't need them.
Perfect.
We just go back to states' rights.
Exactly. I mean, it's bad enough having a state government. We definitely don't need a federal government that's even more disconnected, more humongous, more dangerous, and more insane than all the local state governments.
Exactly. But my question is, if I remember correctly, the Constitution puts a high priority on property rights. And my question for you guys is, when did this whole notion of property taxes come in? Who started it? When did it start? Because
good question.
If you look at it, essentially, nobody owns anything in this country.
That's
I don't care
absolutely
about
true.
all those.
Yeah,
I don't care about all those deeds that you sign when you buy a house and all that paperwork that you got to go through and everything. With the stroke of a pen, if you haven't paid your $2,000 or whatever it is, $3,000 in property taxes,
take it.
It belongs to the government now.
Yep.
Right. So what you have is something to the effect of a lower level of ownership. They've got sovereign title to the land that you live on, and you've got this lesser sort of title to the land. But it's effectively rent. Right.
Exactly.
If you pay your rent on your house once every year, twice a year, or whatever, that doesn't make it not rent. But if they call it property tax, and you're allowed to do a few more things to the land, well, it's not that much different. I know a bit of the history of property taxes. Property taxes have been with the United States since the very beginning. The term quit rents was the previous term, and that was the amount of sort of grain or the fruit of the land that you had to give the Lord for a given piece of land. So, they had the Lord's castle or whatever, then the people were around it where they could run off to. This was true in the United States too, except for the castle part. Basically you had to give a piece of what you made off your land.
It says here on Wikipedia that Delaware had a tax not on property but from the income from it. So is that kind of what you're talking about, whether it's food that was grown on it or money that you made off of it?
Yes. So effectively,
I can
had it for a long time.
I can kind of see that, but how can it get to the point where they just take the land and kick you off of it? That just doesn't ring.
Because it's theirs.
Because they're a criminal gang. Because they're a criminal enterprise, and they're the only criminal enterprise that has ever been so successful at convincing people that there's something besides that. That there's some sort of organization of legitimacy.
There's no way for this to function without us owning the land and a sovereign title. That's really what they say. They keep saying it over and over again, and people tend to believe it. Well, we can't live without government, they'll say, but just because we have this type of government, and it's pretty ubiquitous around the world, this particular type, well, that doesn't mean that we can't have a better one with more freedoms and better customer service.
So when you go back to the beginning then, so there's a distinction between somewhere along the line they decided that they can take your land, whereas before they could just take the work of your labor, of your fruit of your labors.
No, if you didn't give the fruit of the labors, they would certainly kick you off. A serf was bound to the land, out you go. They'd probably just pillory you to death.
Well, just as an historical point, Israel, the state of when God founded the state of Israel way back in the day, and He gave the tribes their land. Their land could not be taken from them from anybody for any reason.
Well, that's interesting.
So at least God got it right.
Joe, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
I wish God would write my deed then.
Back to the Forbes story on the FBI running child pornography distribution rings. The sting operations, they say, are a double-edged sword. They can successfully help cops catch abusers. In theory, they haven't from this particular 18-month-long investigation. And those who share exploitation imagery and video and at the same time permit the re-victimization of anyone featured in the material. In the Utah operation, it appeared, quote, anywhere from hundreds to thousands of children were re-victimized as means to the government's investigative ends, according to Adam Elwa, an associate with the law office of Zachary Margulis Onuma, a New York-based law firm that has defended those accused of child pornography charges. Hansen, that was the person the FBI arrested and took over, created multiple kick groups for the trading of child abuse material and banned those who weren't contributing, meaning if you join the group and you don't put something into the group, you get kicked out. According to the search warrant, hundreds of Kick users within those groups were seen sharing images and videos of minor boys, quote, in various stages of undress in sexually explicit positions and, quote, engaging in sexual activity with adults or children. And then they give an excerpt from the actual paperwork. Distributing images of children being sexually abused violates their privacy and puts them at risk of being harmed again, said John Carr, a consultant who worked for Microsoft and the UK government on child exploitation and internet safety. He says abused children should not be used as bait.
I have to agree.
There's more coming up here. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. More on the government distributing child pornography or facilitating, at the very minimum, the distribution of countless amounts of it over 18 months. There's more coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit gcnlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at gcnlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,293. Silver opened the day at $15.10. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,888. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Chelsea Manning has been taken into custody after refusing to testify against Julian Assange to a secret grand jury. She will be held until she changes her mind or until the grand jury term is over, which could be up to 18 months. News2Share.com reports that ahead of the hearing, Manning was asked what she thinks of the hearings being conducted in secret with no press or the public allowed in.
Doing this in secret, it's very contrary to, the public interest, in my opinion. So I've been very opposed to the whole idea of grand juries in general.
On Tuesday, Manning had her first of 3 hearings pertaining to the subpoena. She filed a motion to quash the subpoena, which was denied, and a second to allow the press into the hearing, which was deferred. Outside, a coalition of anti-fascist and anti-racist activists expressed their support for Manning and their disdain for the grand jury process. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Your news now continues. Newly revealed plans for expanding the Guantanamo Bay prison confirm that the future of the facility focuses on keeping detainees there well into old age and likely for the rest of their lives. Activist Post reports that a decade after President Barack Obama signed an executive order calling for Guantanamo Bay to be shuttered, prison officials are seeking contractors to build a wheelchair-accessible 5,000-square-foot compound at the detention center. That's according to reports by the Middle East Eye and the Miami Herald. Human rights advocates on Thursday decried the move. The new wing will contain 3 handicapped-accessible cells, suggesting that the prison is planning to provide end-of-life care to detainees, many of whom have not been formally charged with any crime or been afforded a trial. Lieutenant Jason Tross, a Guantanamo Bay official, told the Middle East Eye that the new handicapped accessible cells are indeed planned because the prison is, quote, facing an aging detainee population, end quote. On Monday, the Pentagon announced it would be paying $946 million to Lockheed Martin toward the installation of a missile defense system that was purchased not by the United States government, but by Saudi Arabia. Mint-Press News reports that in other words, that means the Pentagon is paying nearly $1 billion to subsidize a purchase made by a foreign power. In the announcement, the Pentagon referred to the payment as an unidentified contract action that would be used in part to prepare Saudi Arabia's current missile defense system for the installation of the $15 billion Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System manufactured by Lockheed. The Pentagon said the payment was intended to prevent major delays in the delivery and production of the system, suggesting it was likely a hedge against past Saudi interest. The payment is also authorized for use by Lockheed to pay for materials, tools, and engineering development. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A report published this week found that a growing number of Americans are being forced to make ends meet by collaborating on songs with Miami-based rapper Pitbull. Citing rising income inequality and a turbulent job market, the report found many U.S. citizens moonlighting as recording artists, mixing drum beats, and guest starring on tracks for the Latin American producer.
It's exhausting, between being part of Pitbull's entourage anytime he's on a club tour and mixing new hooks for him every few nights. I barely see my wife anymore. It's not like I want to do another remix with Avicii, but we really need the money. Okay, sure. I need to get back to work.
In a groundbreaking find, paleontologists this week unearthed the earliest known dinosaur stickers on record. Reportedly discovered in a box labeled Greg's Room, the excavated remains of the reptile adhesives include such stunning specimens as a Triceratops featuring the words Dinos Rock, an Apatosaurus sticker, and the extremely rare puffy kind.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Launching into the third hour here on the live Saturday edition of the program. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Our Discord on-air call-in line rooms are discord.lrn.fm. Just drop in to one of those. We'll get you on the air, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio if you're on Discord. We like that. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark. We
go to your phone calls and thoughts. If you're just tuning in, the main story we've been covering tonight, and just kind of been coming back to it, is an exclusive by Forbes. And they've gotten evidence of the federal government taking over the Kik and Instagram accounts of a child porn distributor, that they'd busted this person, then they got him to sign over access to his accounts. They then got into the accounts, found out that he was administrating, or maybe they already knew this, but he was administrating multiple
Took over administration.
Right. He was the administrator of multiple child porn distribution rings or rooms or whatever you want to call them. And they just continued to operate those rooms, acting as though they were this person for at least 18 months, according to the affidavits.
Right, and they could have, at any point, demanded the IP addresses of certain users from the platform.
Sure.
According to the platform, they have not been contacted.
Didn't know that investigation was even going on, according to Kik. So let's go to your calls and thoughts. There's a little bit more here from the story at Forbes, and then if we get the chance, we can talk about International Women's Day. I think you wanted to comment on that, Mark. We'll get into it. But first, Matt on YouTube. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Matt.
Yeah, and I'm glad y'all brought this show up because I was going to bring it up in relation to a call y'all had yesterday. Two calls. Well, you had one from a 13-year-old boy who wanted to talk about the traumas of moving from upstate New York to Houston, Texas. And, you know, I've been there. I moved from Japan to New Orleans, Louisiana. Boy, that was a culture shock. And then there's some guy called up said, you were talking to a 13-year-old boy and he used his name and somebody might track him down. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, what is going on? I mean, first this thing about Michael Jackson becomes a whole big documentary. Everybody's like,
yeah,
we always suspected this about Michael Jackson. And I'm like, yeah, but you never proved it. And then this trial of R. Kelly, and these are things that
So wait, just to be clear,
like,
are you one of the Michael Jackson is innocent people?
I don't know.
Okay. Because there's a lot of people who are telling a very similar story about him. Now, maybe they all coordinated and said, we want to get this guy or whatever reason. But from what I understand, and I did not watch the documentary, but I read a review of it online, and sounds like, the evidence is pretty persuasive about what he's paying off the parents, giving them, free houses and cars and private jet flights or whatever.
Yeah, that in and of itself is enough for me. Like, okay, I want to hang out with your son, so I'm going to give you a bunch of free stuff.
And
that
he would even
weird.
keep the parents in the same house while he was in the bed with their son. His bed with the parents' son. Well, the parents were in another room.
It is disturbing, but history also has convicted Vlad the Impaler as a vampire.
Okay.
So, not that he was a nice guy, but
all right. What was your what were you driving at here?
I just seeing them lately, like you're being bombarded with all of this stuff about pedophilia, and I'm wondering, is there some kind of a plague going on, or is this just one of those things moving through the zeitgeist?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Probably the latter. Because a lot of this stuff happened a long time ago. Jackson's been dead for a decade.
They're going, they're trying R. Kelly, who's some kind of an RB thing, about incidents that happened a long time ago, and suddenly all these women who, are suddenly coming forward and saying that they were traumatized a long time ago, but chose to say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a mind reader.
So the claim that I actually saw in a couple of the articles about both Michael Jackson and R. Kelly, the claim about why it takes some people so long to come out was that they came out basically after they had children. So until then, they didn't realize how seriously messed up was that whatever it was that happened to them allegedly until they had kids, and then that apparently they say helped them realize how vulnerable they were at the time. Was one of the claims about that.
Okay. I guess I'll have to take their word on it, because like I said, I don't read minds. But I'm just wondering, it's just strange.
The claim with Michael Jackson was that he had told the kids that they would go to prison if they ever said anything about what happened. So there may be some manipulation going on. They're children. I mean, they might have.
Well, you're talking about one of the more powerful people in the world at that point too.
Yeah, one of the alleged abuse victims said that he felt like he was, hanging out with God, basically.
Right. You're going to be, you're whisked away on the private jet, put inside of a mansion where you can't even find the exit, and you're sleeping with this guy, and pretty soon he's, creepy touching you or whatever after he's giving you the Jesus juice, which is what he called wine.
Is that right?
Yeah. It just keeps going. I mean, it ain't pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is just really weird, and somehow, I always get this feeling whenever I see these moral panics, nothing nothing good ever comes of it.
I'm with you. Yeah, you should be skeptical when when you see a pattern and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Sure, be skeptical. You should always be skeptical, but don't ever be so skeptical that you can't be convinced. That's not what skepticism is.
Matt, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Yeah, to me, rich people basically can get whatever they want to have, which means that they then can explore new wants, if that makes sense. Once you get the basics filled up, then you can start looking at new different things to explore and that you might want. So that's why I kind of I feel like I'm more quick to indict somebody who's very wealthy, very powerful on these sexual predatory charges. But who knows?
He did admit sleeping with boys. I mean,
Yes.
that is, fact.
Right.
And
I just like to have little campouts with boys.
people who worked for him, like maids and such, said that in the house they had like a bedroom attached to basically every room. So I guess the idea was you wouldn't have to go far if you wanted to get to a bedroom. Was kind of the idea, as I understand it. The government, though, according to the story over at Forbes about the FBI taking over
government goons,
government goons, taking over pornography distribution rings and just continuing to operate them for 18 months, believes that taking control of suspects' online personas is sometimes worth it. In 2 previous public cases, both looking into child abuse material crimes, police presented suspects with consent to assume online identity forms. In 2008, investigators took control of a suspect's Yahoo account, and in 2009, the FBI acquired access to a real user account on a peer-to-peer file-sharing service. The most controversial facilitation of child pornography. Oh, by the way, Forbes couldn't find any court documents showing how the police benefited from this access.
Right.
No, they did it.
That's the thing here is that, okay, perhaps you can convince me that taking over a child porn distribution room is worth it from a police standpoint, but shouldn't you have some arrests that are associated in some way?
They don't have that with this recent case.
Well, Forbes certainly couldn't find the association.
Right. The most controversial facilitation of child pornography occurred in February of 2015 when the Department of Justice seized and ran Playpen. The site was hosted on Tor, widely known as the dark web, where users' identities are obscured, allegedly, by layers of encryption. For 2 weeks, police launched a malicious code at visitors that would attempt to uncloak their IP address and subsequently their identity. But over that fortnight, the website's performance improved and membership increased 30%. So apparently the giving it to the feds actually was an upgrade.
Before, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now it's being run on their computers.
Put it on some good servers with some bandwidth.
Right. In that case, at the very least, they were trying to find these people. We don't have any evidence of any other the circumstances where they're running this stuff that they're even trying.
Let's see. They found the administrator of Playpen, Stephen Chase. According to his counsel, he was eventually sentenced to 30 years for 6 counts related to the sharing and advertisement of child abuse content. By its own admission, the FBI said 9,000 images and 200 videos were made available by Playpen users while it operated the site, but they didn't tell you how many times those images were downloaded, and if I recall correctly, it was in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
More coming up. Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful. Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynavite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America. as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here. The toll-free number for you to take control of the airwaves is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Ian and Mark here in the studio tonight. And we've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. If you operate a retail business, like a real-life brick-and-mortar kind of business, and you want to take cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Dash or Zcash or some others, get on over to helpmetakebitcoin.com. The folks at AnyPay can help make this possible for you and do it within moments. If you've ever signed up for credit card processing or a bank account, you know how difficult it can be to open up those old money services. Getting started with Bitcoin is way easier than you think, and I'm really talking about 15 minutes here is probably what you would need. If you've never downloaded a Bitcoin wallet, that's going to be probably the biggest chunk of time, is just getting your wallet set up for the first time. Anyway, go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. This is easy to do, and they've made it real streamlined over there. Helpmetakebitcoin.com as we continue with your calls and thoughts as the federal government once again has been caught. Now, they may be doing this on a variety of other occasions. Who knows how often this is going on, but this is the first time on record, according to Forbes magazine, the first time that the federal government, or maybe any policing agency, has taken over the private accounts of a person who was convicted or busted for child pornography, and then proceeded to then operate that person's rooms in which they were trading. So it was an administrator operating their rooms in which people were trading child pornography for 18 months at least in this particular case. And some people out there, I think rightfully, should find this unacceptable and outrageous. The idea that the federal government, who claims that it is a crime to distribute child pornography, are engaging in the distribution of child pornography and the facilitation of the distribution of child pornography for weeks upon end, in this case, months upon end.
They'll claim simultaneously that the distribution of this stuff is damaging to the victims, and then claim, but not when we do it.
Not when we do it.
And that's like that's
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it either is damaging or it's not damaging.
Right.
It should either be a crime or it should not be a crime. No, being a police officer doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. And this is wrong, and it should not be done in the name of right.
Yeah, I'm on the side of it should not be a crime to, facilitate or to distribute these things, to download it, but to create it is, to my mind, the crime, because that's where the person was victimized.
whether or not 1 or 400,000 people see that photograph is immaterial to the victim.
The damaging thing occurred at that moment. I'm with you on that.
It's not like they get a little zap every time somebody downloads it.
Right, I concur with that. However, what I would say is that it's. I don't want the society where the distribution of this stuff is okay, so long as we got the person who did it. I just don't want that.
Well, I don't want a society where people are thrown in prison for a thought crime, which is ultimately what you're talking about.
I'm not talking about necessarily a thought crime, because in this circumstance, what we're saying is that I'm being consistent. The distribution of this stuff is bad, and whether you're a cop, whether you're a child trying to catch a child predator, or whatever it is, if you distribute this stuff, you're doing something bad.
But where's the victim?
I understand. You're asking where
you're
the victim
saying
is.
Morally it's bad.
No, I'm saying from a to some extent, what we're talking about here is constructing a society, and in the construction of a society, I don't think we don't have the guts for that. All right, and I don't want to. I don't want to go in the place where it's okay. We got the bad guy who made it, so let's just distribute the heck out of it. I'm not ready to make that defense. Not interested in it. You're right. There's no actual victim in that circumstance. However, let's go after the largest distributors, and right now the largest distributors is the FBI.
Let's go to Jim. He's listening in Indianapolis to WIBC FM. Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Hey.
I don't really have a strong opinion yet about the FBI's what they did, because I would like to get a little more information rather than just.
What would you like to know? We know a little bit about the case.
I read the story.
Well, I want to get different views of it from different journalists.
Well, journalists
I don't think
aren't
I can be
supposed
an
to
expert
express
on
a view.
everything by hearing one thing about it.
Agreed.
But I would like to say this: America tends to be in denial about these type of things. For instance, they were showing the Cosby show until the guy finally went to jail, even though multiple women accused him of being probably the biggest serial rapist in American history. But we still got Jim Baker, who did exactly what Bill Cosby did, was to give his secretary a date rape drug and then gang rape her with a friend of his, and he's still teaching us how to be moral on TV, how to live moral lives. What a joke.
Yeah, I always wonder. I feel like Bill Cosby's work on the Cosby Show was quite good. But am I supposed to change my opinion about it because the man who portrayed, Huxtable,
a character,
is not the man that we thought he was?
Well, how far do you have to go? Should we? I mean, if Adolf Hitler had a sitcom back in those days, would we now be watching it? I mean, how far does it have to go?
Good question.
The guy's a horrible rapist. He's a phony.
He is.
And we shouldn't be watching his show. They shouldn't be showing it to us.
Well, Adolf Hitler was an artist, and he painted some paintings, and those paintings are worth
but
money.
People tend to.
And
no,
let me
they're
ask
not.
you,
They're not. People don't tend to like things like that. They don't bring big money. Actually,
well, they're not Picasso.
You got a few weirdos that are into like Nazi stuff, but other than that stuff doesn't bring big money because people don't. They tend to.
Well, I said
away from.
I said it brought
people.
money, and they certainly are going to bring. They're going to bring more than if you paint a scene on the street. They've got the acclaim, so I don't have much of an opinion on. I think it's strange to want to buy Adolf Hitler's paintings because they're inconsequential and not very. They're not special in any way, other than the fact that he was.
Well, don't you think it's a little odd that Bill Cosby fired Lisa Bonet because she got pregnant, and at the same time he's raping women? The show is a show about a nice guy, whereas he's exactly the opposite of that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a tough situation for a lot of people with Bill Cosby, who had grown up. In my case, I remember watching him as a kid.
America's Dad, right?
1980s. He was the Picture Pages. That was what he did, the Picture Pages thing on Nickelodeon. Hugely popular thing for kids. And, not everybody's who they seem to be, I guess. I tend to agree with you on this, Mark. I don't think people should allow their opinion of the man to affect whether or not they enjoyed the programs that were put out. That
I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Everybody's got the right to watch it or not, but the people that are providing it, I don't think they should be doing that.
You're saying
and
the TV stations should ban it.
Shouldn't be advertising on the channel.
So all the other actors that were in the show, they should just get thrown to the floor, the cutting room floor.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that Bill Cosby's estate is going to be sued. So, if you watch the show, the estate gets money, and then the people that are going to sue the state can get some money, I guess.
Jim, thanks for the call tonight. I do appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. More on the government running child porn rings, apparently. And we don't know how much porn was distributed, but we know it was a long time they were running them. We're coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Did you know the official national American flag has never been manufactured for retail stores? The one that Americans fought and died for. The one symbol that represents our Constitution. Now you can be a part of this great movement that's never been seen before. Together, we'll recapture America. Call 1-877-383-4777 or visit theofficialflag.com. Theofficialflag.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Many thought that a politician with a publicly inebriated lifestyle would be unelectable. But Dave Tillis has proved them wrong, winning over voters by loudly rambling on about issues they care about.
Everybody's got to know that drunks are Americans, and we love America! And we want to make it awesome! Oh my God, let's do this! Let's be a senator! I love you guys!
Tillis' total fearlessness and lack of inhibition seemed to speak to voters. This week, those supporters had something to celebrate as Senator Tillis proposed his first piece of legislation, the All Bus Stops Should Have Shelters bill.
But does that mean you deserve to wake up in the snow? Hell no. Let's make a shelter on all bus stops. Ow! This idea is genius!
This is the Onion News Network.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up anything you want if you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And, of course, you can visit our website and follow us on social media. We've got a variety of different options. There's the Free Talk Live Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com. There is the alternative to Twitter, the decentralized alternative called Mastodon. You can go and follow us on that platform by going to toot.freetalklive.com. That's T-O-O-T, toot.freetalklive.com, or our Telegram channel at telegram.freetalklive.com. As we continue, we'll take your calls and thoughts. Marilyn is on the line in, I'm not sure where, New Hampshire? Marilyn, where are you tonight?
Yes, New Hampshire.
Welcome. What part of New Hampshire are you in?
Lake Winnipesaukee.
Excellent. Go ahead with your thoughts tonight.
Well, I wanted to comment on the child pornography. It's a behavioral crime, and it's a medium that is very powerful. And I wanted to explain that to you. I was a fighter of pornography back in the 70s.
All pornography?
On women.
When you say you were a fighter,
I found out the hard way by getting involved with protesting it. And that the women that were fighting it were lesbians, and I was straight. And I found out that they learned that even women who were looking at pornography just to fight it, like I blocked it out. I didn't look at the stuff.
How is it that, women, just to clarify, this is news to me.
They would become lesbians. That's how powerful it is. It's true. Yes, this is true.
It's ridiculous, is what it is.
I just decided, I'm getting out of this. I'm not going to have any part of it.
Hold on. Marilyn, I want to know what it is that you did to fight pornography and how it is that watching pornography helps you fight pornography.
Well, what they were doing was they would have, like group meetings, and they would gather the pornography and burn it.
Really?
But in the meanwhile, these women were collecting it, and in other words, the lesbians knew that if they collected it, if they were going to be looking at it, and it did turn women into lesbians. So they didn't tell them that that's what they were going to do, but that was part of their routine.
How do you know that watching pornography turned straight women into lesbians?
Because that's what the lesbians told me, and I observed it, and I got out of it. I didn't observe the pornography, but I observed what other women were doing.
How many lesbians told you that it was because they watched pornography is why they believe they are attracted to women? Because I've never heard this before in my life.
They don't tell you, you just observe.
I thought you said they told you.
You're involved with the group.
Didn't she just say? She did just say, right, Mark? You're nodding your head. That doesn't help. Okay. So, yeah, you did just say. In other words,
I was part of this group of women.
Yes, that's what you said.
And, in a short period of time, I learned who they were and what they were doing, and several of them were straight at one time and became lesbians.
So
they didn't tell me why, but then I found out that the leader told me. The leader of the group told me this is what was going on.
Hold on. What did the leader tell you exactly?
That when women are gathering the pornography to fight it, they would be looking at it, and they would become lesbians.
How long does it take? I mean, is it for?
I'm sorry, I didn't hang around long enough to find out. I got out.
She didn't want to become a lesbian.
Yeah, but the magic spell hadn't been cast on you.
I'm just repeating what I heard.
Do you think there's something wrong with being a lesbian?
Is there something wrong with being a child pornographer?
Are you really going to try to draw that parallel?
It's just not correct behavior at all.
Okay, so anyway, you were basically a homophobe.
My question to you is, you were mentioning about the 18 months.
Crazy
When was this 18 months? during the Obama administration?
Actually during Trump. So 2017 through early 2017 through late 2018, basically.
And
April through
these
November.
Employees who were involved, were they hired by, were they holdovers from the Obama administration?
Well, they're FBI agents. They could have been hired at any point.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. If your theory's true, then wouldn't
they should all be lesbians.
Right. Wouldn't all the employees of the FBI who are involved in investigating child pornography become either lesbians, gay men, or child pornographers themselves?
No, they become child pornographers.
Oh, so porn...
in other words, they get the addiction. They get addicted to what they're viewing.
And this is all what the person who led the anti-porn group in the 1970s told you, and you've believed that ever since?
Yes, I observed it.
Well, there's a lot of people...
Pornography is that
you did not observe
powerful, depending on the type of pornography that you are viewing.
No.
I blocked it out. I didn't look at it.
Marilyn, I've got news for you. You are completely paranoid, and you're totally wrong about this. Now, you could argue that pornography has an addictive feature, meaning that people can get hooked on it.
Sure.
Just like people can get hooked on, eating ice cream or other habits that might be bad, not in moderation. So certainly there are people who have addictions to pornography of all sorts, no doubt about it.
But the consumption of pornography does not lead to the consumption of child pornography.
No. Well, nor does the consumption of child porn make one into a child pornographer, nor does the consumption of any porn make one into a lesbian or a gay person. So, I mean, this is just the most ridiculous theory I've ever heard. Well, every person who's gay that I have ever spoken with has known they were gay from a relatively young age. It's something that they were just, and they hadn't seen a bunch of hardcore porn. They just grew up with an attraction to the same sex. Now, some people hid it for longer than others, but over time, many of them have come to the realization of that they are attracted to the same sex, and they've embraced that publicly to some extent, come out of the closet, and probably have a better life because they're not hiding themselves anymore.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with watching porn.
Well, I think that the idea of gay and straight is a little antiquated anyway. I mean, basically, there's a Kinsey scale out there, and that Kinsey scale says that, I think you're at a 0, you're gay or straight, and then at a 7, you're gay or straight.
Yeah,
like,
one or the other.
It goes one way or the other. I'm not sure what it is. I don't care.
The argument is almost everybody's in between somewhere. Is that right?
Well, no. I mean, there are people that that are on one end or the other. But if you're somehow, like, I'm thinking, maybe she certainly likely did see some straight women turn into lesbians. However, she's assigning the reasoning here, and it could be just because they're hanging out with lesbians and seeing an opportunity to do lesbian things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a straight woman who is, straight could experiment.
She presumed they were straight because they were married or something. This is the 70s, okay?
Right.
I mean,
there were probably women who were lesbians who were married because they hadn't come out as being lesbians, right?
Sure, they didn't have the opportunities or anything like that. The opportunity presents itself. They avail themselves of the opportunity. They get rid of that bum at the house.
They didn't have a Lesbo app that they could log into and, find other lesbians.
Right.
What's the Lesbo app?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
There's Grindr for the gay guys.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to use the term lesbo. Like that's not. This is not. You're not in the.
Is that a bad word?
Social group that allows you to say lesbo.
I just said it.
Yeah, I know. You'll say whatever you want to say, just because you want to be able to say whatever you want to say.
Marilyn, fascinating call. Thank you for making it tonight. Wow, that's. I thought I'd heard it all, but
no. I mean, people assign
porn.
all kinds of things. Once they decide that pornography is a sin, right? And then once they've decided that, then there's a bunch of other things that they kind of pile on to the whole thing after that. Well, it'll lead to this, it'll lead to that, damnation, and the whole rigmarole. I mean, yes, some people become addicted to pornography. However, it doesn't affect everybody. It certainly doesn't affect everybody the same way. It's just pictures, okay?
Right. Moving pictures.
Pictures of naked people.
The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. We've got time for you if you want to join us in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are imminent. It's Ian and Mark here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Don't forget, we've got a forum where you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners over at forum.freetalklive.com, and more coming up. on the radio.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Dogosuds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Dogosud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Dogosuds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Visit GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
The warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, open phones as always, where you can take control of the airwaves. Our number, 855-450, free like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms where we've got somebody hanging on the line we're going to get to just here in a moment, but you can get on to those rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And thank you to Joe, who is a Free Talk Live Gold amplifier. A gold means Joe's doing $10 a month. We only ask for $5, but he's doing $10. We really appreciate anybody contributing to the AMP program, but thank you, Joe, for that, because the AMP program helps us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations around the country and bring new internet listeners on board to the show, exposing new people to the ideas of freedom and continuing this conversation that we keep having on a variety of different issues here on the air. So if you want to help us do that, please join the AMP program like Joe did over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com, as we go back to the phones, to the fun. Russ, listening to WLNI FM in Lynchburg, Virginia. Hey, Russ.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Welcome. You're on the air.
Okay. The last caller just completely blew my mind. What kind of sheep is she? I mean, that is one of the most misguided people I've ever heard on your show in my life.
Sounded like a religious zealot to me, but we didn't get deep into what her belief systems were.
I'm not worried about the belief system. I'm talking about the whole thing that watching pornography will turn a woman into a lesbian.
Right. But what I'm saying is I think that probably comes from a religious belief.
Kind of a thing.
Sorry, you're still there. Go ahead.
Let me digress again. We're talking about the whole child pornography thing with the FBI.
Yeah.
They're committing a crime to fight crime, and basically what they're doing is entrapment. I don't support the whole anyone ordering or owning or creating child pornography, but I don't think our government needs to distribute it.
Okay.
Seems
like a reasonable position.
Yeah, and I mean it's a very it's a very, very, very controversial subject. But along those lines, I mean we've had a few things pop up in the past 5 to 6 years with the whole Cosby issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and it's funny that R. Kelly was in jail. Bill Cosby has gone to prison. Harvey Weinstein is walking around free.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, he's probably done more damage to in Hollywood than anyone I can think of.
I haven't looked closely at the Harvey Weinstein stuff, but I mean, wasn't it basically a pay-to-play kind of situation with Weinstein?
It was a casting couch sort of situation, but he basically raped Rose McGowan. Okay, and
basically
that's
raped?
the one that for me, she hasn't come out to earn money off of this. She's trying
What
to
are the allegations in that case? There were so many allegations thrown around. I don't remember who said what.
He raped her. I mean, he's done this. I mean, we just had Gwyneth Paltrow and Angelina Jolie come out and say he raped them. So, I mean, it's pretty much been prevalent for the past 40 years with this guy. But my thing is there was a director recently who, and this was a Facebook post. And
I just like to clarify something. I don't want to sound like I'm defending Harvey Weinstein. I don't know what the guy did. Nothing's been proven at this point.
Guys,
he said versus
information on all the legit news services out there.
There are. I just don't pay attention.
It's a pile-on. I mean, there's no doubt that there's a pile-on. We read many of the allegations on the air. It usually involved him being in his hotel room. He would invite up one of these girls. He wanted a back rub or whatever it was he wanted.
There is two sides to this.
He had a bottle of wine.
There's also the fact that they're trying to further their career.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's part of the issue here is that when you have 20 beautiful women whose job it is, in some cases, to get buck naked and simulate sex on the the big screen there, one of them or two of them is going to try to stand out amongst the others.
Well,
and then how are they going to do that? Well, the casting couch is an option.
Yeah, let me step in here and just like I said, there's a director. I'm actually friends with the guy on Facebook. Talk to him daily, Marcus Nispel. Okay, he has done some decent movies, Conan the Barbarian, Friday the 13th, the remakes. And he basically went off on a post one day, and basically, he didn't expose anything, but he was ranting about this, and I mean, with all due righteousness in it, because the guy was right. There is in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, an underground, it's not some sort of evil, multi-tentacled or cabal.
Spit it out. What is
It's just the fact that there's just too much. There's just way too much abuse of power in Hollywood.
Mm. Well, I mean, power is going to be abused generally.
R. Kelly, those allegations for R. Kelly have been around since at least 15 years.
At least. I mean, I think it's closer to 25.
Jackson, okay, Michael Jackson. Let's go back to Michael Jackson, okay? Michael Jackson had allegations thrown at him when he was still alive and performing in the 80s.
Yep.
I mean, when you're raised by Joe Jackson and what he did with his daughters, there you go.
I don't know those allegations, sorry.
It's a vicious cycle.
Are you saying that his dad molested his daughters? I'm not familiar with that.
I'll give you a perfect example. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey came out after sexually abusing or attempting to sexually abuse a young actor underage and said he's gay. The gay community backed away and said they don't want anything to do with this man.
Well, right, because being gay doesn't mean that you're a molester.
Now we have people who are identifying as pedosexual. This may be a created term, but it's been on the internet enough to where it's now in the public consciousness. I've never heard of it.
They
want to justify having sex with kids. Frankly, it disgusts me. It's not a sexual identity. It's a mental illness, and they need to be treated as such.
Okay.
Institutionalized or thrown in prison for the rest of their life. That's pretty much it.
I'm not sure that's a solution to it, but I will say this much. What was it? Someone mentioned Hitler. Some of those dictatorial, forms of government did have a way of dealing with these people. They basically shot them in the back of the head. It didn't matter if they were, and left them. I don't know if that should be the solution, but you know what? Probably not, because when they don't like you, they'll call you a pedophile. They'll shoot you in the back of the head, and off you go into a ditch.
No evidence necessary.
As far as what that piece of garbage did in World War II to 6 million Jews, homosexuals, mentally ill,
But you're willing to embrace his methods if you think it'll further your methods. Thank you for the call tonight. Further your goals. Thanks for that. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Let's continue here with Outlaw Conservative on our Discord chat.
Good to be with you guys.
Hello, this is Chris. Sounds like Chris Cantwell. Hello there.
Indeed it is, yes. My name is Christopher Cantwell. I'm the host of the Outlaw Conservative and a bunch of other terrible things, which we probably shouldn't talk about on broadcast radio. But I tuned in towards the end of the show, and I heard a woman talking about pornography turning women into lesbians, and you guys seemed all confused by that. And I figured I'd call and explain to you why she's right. And it's not to say that all women.
You're going to align yourself with the religious nut job zealots tonight, all right?
Hashtag not all women. All right, go ahead.
But this is the whole thing. This is the problem. When we start talking about issues like that, it always gets distracted with the religion thing, which it really isn't, right? But it is interesting to see, because I used to make that assumption myself. I used to think that all insistence on any kind of sexual norm was just some kind of throwback to some religious superstition, and it's really not. When you start, it's unfortunate we're so short on time because we're not going to be able to do this justice. But
how does it turn them into lesbians? That's what I want to know.
What it does is it disconnects sex from reproduction, for one. Okay, so the entire pornography industry is just the same deconstruction that you see run rampant with the ethnic group that's controlling the pornography industry, which you probably know is the same ethnic group that's responsible for the banking and the media. Right? They deconstruct everything. They say, but
are they shape-shifting lizards?
Sex is about pleasure, right? It's a nonsense lie that's been peddled upon the society. Right?
That's what it's about for me.
Everybody gets it in their head. Well, of course it is for you, right? Because you got conned into this nonsense when you were how young and did away with your capacity
I've just never had the drive to reproduce. It's never been something for me, man. It's been for you, but not for me.
The thing is that, whatever your drives are, Ian, they're influenced by the information that you're given, right? And so our entire information pool is flooded with this nonsense, and then you get filled with this nonsense in your head, and then you go repeat it on the airwaves, and it just continues until our birth rates plummet and they have to replace us with third world immigrants, right? So that's exactly what's happening.
Our birth rates.
I am out of time for tonight. That's the Outlaw Conservative. What's your website, Chris?
outlawconservative.com,
You're gonna
ChristopherCantwell.com.
You're going to be on. You have a lot of despicable views, but you're going to be able to express them on a special episode of
special extra despicable episode
of Aria DeMezzo, the anarchist she-male, versus Christopher Cantwell, the outlaw conservative / crying Nazi, as he's been called. That's going to be happening Friday night on the Twitch feed, twitch.lrn.fm, at least until Twitch pulls it off, because Chris is violating their terms of service. So that's going to happen 10 p.m. Eastern Time Friday. Mark your calendar and be there at twitch.lrn.fm to see that happen live. It'll also be on our lrn.fm streams. Meanwhile, we'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part